Well, we're here with Rhea Frey, best-selling author. I'm not going to read her bio. Here's why.
Because it's lengthy.
Well, it's lengthy, very popular author, in
Hmm.
person. I don't think people really listen. I think they tune out when you're listening to a podcast and you're listening to someone's long
Yes.
bio. You're like, whatever, just talk to the person. So she's written like, I don't know, 8 books. They've all been published by the big five. She's written some nonfiction. She'll describe herself as a writing doula.
A book doula. Yeah,
Book
writing doula.
doula.
Book doula. Why not?
Yes. Uh, and I'll let her explain what that means. And here she is, Rhea Frey.
Thanks for that intro.
Yeah.
What an elegant, one of the
What
most
an
eloquent
elegant
intros.
Intro. I
I've ever
love
seen.
it. No, I think bios are really boring. But yes, I do split my time between being a fiction author. I write in two genres, kind of more book club, women's fiction, and thrillers. And then I do consider myself a book doula. So I really help people birth their books into the world, whether that is self-publishing, traditional publishing. I work with novelists, nonfiction authors. My sweet spot's kind of first-time authors. I love I don't want to say I love like crushing people's naivete around this industry. Yeah, there's just a lot of things that you need to know as a first-time author that we're not
Yeah.
ever taught in college. Like if you go to school for writing or take classes, it's really around the craft more than the business. So I've become very passionate about helping people navigate the business side and the money and
Mhm.
just trying to advocate for themselves so they can make informed decisions about their publication path and journey.
And yet you find the time to write. How do you do that while you're
Ooh, I
doing all
don't know.
this?
Yeah, it's funny. I am a very fast writer. I've always been a fast writer, but I've
Yeah.
noticed splitting my time between coaching and writing that my writing always falls to the back burner. So I've recently switched it up and I spend my first working hour every day on my own creative pursuits, whether that's writing something, editing, whatever. That doesn't sound
Mhm.
like a lot of time, but I got like an 80,000 word book done in November just from doing one focused hour in the morning before I went on to client work. So I'm like, this actually works. So that's been a really
Great.
good little tip that I just kind of put my writing first, even if it is a shortened period of time.
Okay, but did you cheat? Is it one of those hour during the week and then weekends I write for 10 hours
No, no, no,
sort of
no,
things?
no. I did, but
Okay.
I did not take a break on the weekends, but literally did not do more than an hour, maybe 2 hours at most, like one of the days.
Hmm.
It was very like, nope, just gonna do this for an hour because I'm
Yeah.
not one of those writers that can write for 10 hours at a time. Like I kind of purge and then need to walk away and process. Um,
Hmm.
so I love like writing a lot in a little in a little period of time.
Purge and process.
Well, what's
Yeah.
your
What's
process?
what's your process, Matt? I don't think you've
I
ever told me.
um I plan out everything in my head and then I write for 4 weeks and I finish the book that way.
Yeah,
At least
yeah,
that's what I did on the one I
yep.
currently have. Michelle is not like that at all, I don't think.
Yeah, what's your process?
Michelle, by the way, before we get to the process, Michelle Daniel repped writer as of like 18 minutes ago.
It's exciting.
No, that's okay. Not quite 18
Eight
minutes, like a
eight
week
days
and
ago.
change.
Oh, sorry, a
Maybe
week.
almost 2 weeks now, huh?
She's a
Today's a
veteran.
Friday.
Yes.
It's
Uh
so exciting though. Being,
anyway.
I don't know, just that there is no sweeter spot than when I think before your first book sells and you're repped and it's just I don't know. There's something just so magical about that period of time.
Before your dreams are
Before
crashed.
your dreams
Before
are
your dreams
crushed
are
and
crushed.
you
Well,
become jaded and cynical, like the rest of us.
I am extremely jaded.
That will serve you well in the publishing industry.
Yes, yes,
Mm.
it will. But what is your,
Yes,
Michelle,
what
what's
is your
your
process?
Yeah, my process, wow, it's not really much of a process. It's I get an idea in my head and I just go with it and then see what happens. And if I can sustain it for more than 5,000 words, that it's usually good and I finish it. But if I feel like, oh, I'm meandering or I'm like grasping at straws after about 2, 3,000, then usually I just give up on it and move on to another idea. But Yeah, structure, it's not my thing, unfortunately. However, I'm a very critical editor. So after I'm done, I try to not be critical of myself and I just kind of like let myself be ugly, be messy, and just get it all out there. And I am I am unfortunately one of those writers who will sit it for 10 hours and just do the things. So
I think
Mhm.
that's amazing
but
though.
once I'm done and I feel like, okay, okay, it's birthed, it's done, that part is done, then I go back and I'm very like mean to myself. And then I'm like, okay, structure, what's the point of this scene? Does it need to be here? All of that stuff, you know? So
Completely.
yeah, it's kind of weird.
I know that's not weird. I think revision is where the book is really
Oh,
made,
absolutely. I
honestly.
am
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
about revision. Yes, yeah, I think of it as a painting.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Like you do your first layers and then you're like, okay, I have the idea, I have most of the colors in play, whatever. But then you come back and then there's just constant like additional layers, additional like details, additional whatever that you do to refine and refine and refine. And so
Yeah.
you cannot write without being willing to edit and revise over and over and over again.
But there's a double-edged sword to that because some writers will toil and tinker forever and then not
Yes.
be willing to let it go.
Right.
Or
Yeah.
vice
Yeah.
versa. Like they get it to a point and then they want to be published, but they're not willing for their work to change anymore in
Hmm.
any substantial way. So that's always
Hmm.
interesting too. And that's when like self-publishing, I think, is a beautiful option because you can put out whatever you want. But if you want to get traditionally published, it's going to change a lot.
Absolutely.
Especially if you're a screenwriter.
Oh gosh.
So, you know,
Yeah,
You
like
can't,
yeah.
yeah, you should not be married to any sort of story if you're a screenwriter. You're just like,
Yeah.
okay, here's words,
they get
whatever,
scraps.
whatever happens, happens.
Yeah. Fortunately, sometimes they pick up the script and someone else rewrites it. Then it's completely out of your hands.
It's
So
so
Yeah.
crazy. I mean, if that happened as a fiction writer, that would just be so insane.
it is,
This
Hmm.
right.
world, that's so crazy.
When you work with new clients, is that one of the first questions you ask them? Like, what's your process?
No, we don't talk about process. I mean, a lot of
Ah.
times, if a novelist is coming to me, it's because they've usually already written their book and
Hmm.
they need developmental editing or they need some sort of guidance on they want to self-publish or they want me to pitch it to agents and editors on their behalf. So that usually the book usually comes to me like fully intact. But if it's a nonfiction author, nonfiction authors aren't really authors. They're CEOs, they're experts, they're entrepreneurs. So they don't even have a process. It's usually their first book. So that's why I do work with them to get either a book proposal, which is how you sell a
Yeah.
nonfiction book in the traditional world, or a lot of times people hire me to like ghostwrite or developmentally edit their nonfiction
Hmm.
book, or I work with them in tandem in a collaborative container where I help them. I like kind of live edit as they're writing their book. I'm behind them, like editing as they are creating this book
Wait,
chapter
how
by.
does that work?
It's
Interesting.
really interesting. So that actually just happened to me with my book that's coming out in April called Dear Mother. Um, it's so funny that the container that I offer clients literally just happened to me in my own career. So that was kind of interesting to experience it. But with
Uh-huh.
clients, they just put me on a monthly retainer and they're like, I want to write this book. I want to self-publish it. I want to put it out, let's say in December. So we kind of work backwards and figure out how many months they're going to need to write it.
Yeah.
And then I set them a deadline and then we assign a certain amount of chapters that they can write per week. So if you're a writer, like, maybe I can get 2 chapters a week or 3 chapters a week, they write a chapter. They turn it into me. We're doing everything in a Google Doc. And I am editing that chapter as they are moving on to their next chapter. So
Hmm.
it is a very like transparent process. Some authors love it because it keeps them accountable. And also, if there's some big structural issue, like I can catch it really
Yeah.
early. Because sometimes authors left to their own devices, they'll veer off like to the right when they really should have gone left.
Hmm.
But some authors hate it because they're like, I don't want anyone seeing my first draft. Like, I need to just
Yeah.
go in a cave and like do it all myself.
Yeah.
But with my latest book, so this is my ninth novel. And I was like, I got this one in the bag. I'm good. This is my third book with this publisher. I'm like, we're good. So I wrote this book. I turned it in early, so confident. I was like, wouldn't it be great if they had no edits? I just didn't get an editorial letter. Like, wouldn't that be something? And oh my God, I have two editors and they asked to have a Zoom call with me before they sent me the editorial letter, which is never a good sign.
Is that,
No.
I was going to say, that's never a good sign.
It never happened. Never
Has
happened.
it ever
ever.
been like, let's have a Zoom immediately
Never.
and tell you how great you are?
Just to tell
No,
you how amazing
never.
it is.
Yeah. And so I was like,
Yeah, it's a waste of time, right?
Right.
yeah, I was like, just let me know up front, is this going to be a complete rewrite? And the editor that I was talking to, she was like, yeah, it is. So we get on this call and they just, for the first like 10, 15 minutes, they just tell me everything they hated about this book. And like my agent loved this book, beta readers love this book. I was just stunned because I really thought like, oh no, I got this one. And so they basically asked me to toss it out and they were like, what other ideas do you have? Like, let's just brainstorm some ideas right now. And if you are a writer who has just been through the writing process, you've edited it, you've turned it in, I was prepared to step into the developmental edit stage where I'd have to revisit the book. I was not in the headspace to completely rewrite a book, especially I just turned in another book. And so I was like paralyzed. I was like, I don't actually have another idea, like just fully fleshed out. So we brainstormed and I was going to scrap this book entirely, but I decided not to. And the only thing that stayed was the character's name and the town. But I rewrote this book in 2 weeks. It was in a Google Doc and my two editors, so I would write a chapter and then they were in there like leaving comments and it was the most collaborative edit I've ever had because a lot of people don't know in the traditional world, once you like turn in your book, you know, your editor goes away, they read it, they come back, they give you like a 10-page letter
Ton of comments,
of all the things, that you could do, but you don't have to do any of these. And it's a very like overwhelming, paralyzing process because it's not hyper specific on like, just fix these 3 things. And so this was such a cool container because I knew exactly what I needed to change. I knew exactly what they liked, what they didn't like. So yeah, we cobbled it together in 2 weeks and I was petrified that people are going to think it's written by a 3rd grader because to be written so fast, but the early feedback I've gotten has actually been really great. So
did you run the original outline for Dear Mother past your editors or is that just
so with all 3 of these books, in full transparency, I sold all 3 of these books based on like a 2-page synopsis and like 10 pages, maybe like 10, like a couple chapters essentially. So, it wasn't this like long drawn out.
So the issue was they just didn't like the direction you went in. They just didn't really connect to anything in the book. But I like this one so much better. I like this version of the character so much better. I like the story so much better. So it's actually really cool. And it showed me that I was like, okay, I can adapt and be resilient. I do not take this kind of stuff personally. I have no problem scrapping a draft. But it did take a minute, though, of just like, oh, man, I have to sit here and write, But this is my shortest book because I had 2 weeks. So it's 67,000 words, which readers are also loving. Like, because it's like a 3-hour, it's like a 3-hour read. It's a very quick read. So I'm a fan of
I love them.
High 60s, mid 70s.
What do you write, Matt? Perfect. High 60s?
I don't like talking about my own writing, but I will because I'm glad it's a segue because I do want to make one point, and it's an example that I just went through. But for my other one, it's given the genre, it needed to be less words anyway, but it was about 71,000.
71,
really?
Okay.
Yeah. But I asked about the outline process because I went, I wanted to write, get my next book ready because you have to have something ready if, they're going to ask you, right? Which most writers still don't quite grasp. The ones that I've worked with over the last 20 years, they're like, this is my script or this is my book.
What's next?
Like, yeah, right. So I wanted to write something time travel adjacent, but I didn't want it to be like a lame time travel story.
Yep.
And every iteration I came up with was just like the most mediocre. Like I could have written it, it would have been mediocre, and I could have, gotten a mediocre publisher, and
done mediocrely, right? But I'm like, what can I do that's different? What can I? And I just like, it was driving me crazy for months and months. And I think I even pitched a version of it to Michelle at
You did. I remember.
September. And I'm like, I can't figure it out. And I finally figured it out. And it's not ended up being not really a time travel thing at all. But you need to kind of have those little lame, you have to be hard on yourself in the concept process, right?
For sure.
But as long as you have that skeleton there, Rhea, correct me if I'm wrong. As long as you have that skeleton there, you can be, it's a little easier to pivot and sort of work within that framework, right? Like you said, you kept the town, you kept the character. I'm sure you kept the overarching premise, right?
No.
Oh,
I mean,
well, this kills my point.
Ish. I mean, yes, there are a couple, like, yes, the skeleton, I guess, actually was the same, but like everything kind of changed within that. But I mean, that's why, like, I am not one of those outliner. I know some authors that do like 40-page outlines and they spend months. I used to be a total pantser. Now I like have to know where I'm going. And I've been doing some collaborative projects. We actually just got an offer for an audiobook audiobook only deal with 3 other writers. And I'm just trying out some new things. And that's been amazing because you have to plot out the book. Like you have to know what each of you is writing. So whereas I've been so resistant to that with my own work, it's been so helpful because we can just knock out chapters so quickly. So I've gotten way better about like, I have to kind of know where I'm going, but I also leave room for exploration and discovery along the way. So you don't.
Yeah, I guess to my point, and Michelle, I think, I feel like we've had this conversation before with one of your books. The skeleton I'm talking about and how you can pivot inside of it, like you wouldn't have gotten this version of the book without having first gone through that version of the book.
Exactly.
Right.
Yep.
So you have to be patient, and I'm sure it's as mentally and creatively jarring, and it keeps you up at night sometimes as much as myself, right?
Yes. All the time.
Right. Especially when you're writing, because you both write like thrillers, right? And like yours is more of an espionage thriller, Michelle, and you have another one that's very cerebral. It's like there's so many little moving parts to it. Everything has to kind of align, when you're writing in that genre, I feel like.
Really does. Yeah.
Whereas I choose things. I'm like, it's speculative fiction, so if the accuracy is off, sorry, that's how it's like in the future.
Well, I just wrote. I have a book out on Sub right now that is my main character's a quantum theorist, but it does deal with time travel. But I got like so deep in the science of like, no, this can actually happen, and just geeked out on all of it. But also a lot of pressure there to make sure that it is actually kind of factual. I mean, obviously it's fiction, but I had so much fun because I love quantum physics and just.
Oh yeah. I went down the same rabbit hole, just a little side tangent. No, because that was my problem too. I don't like making stuff. I mean, I like making stuff up, but like I want it to be grounded in reality personally.
Exactly.
That's just my own personal preference, right?
Me too.
So I went down kind of a similar rabbit hole, and I'm like, oh, this is interesting. But like then it starts getting too technical. You kind of have to like pull back.
Yeah, there's a nice.
Love the theoretical physics. Love reading Stephen Hawking, all that stuff. And
right.
Oh my God, I'm the biggest.
I can't actually go into an engineering class and make an A. I have tried.
Yeah, it's an interesting line that you kind of have to walk sometimes.
Completely.
So your fiction stuff, by the way, you are a book pipeline winner. I forget the year, several years ago.
20?
Oh.
Was it?
22?
I think it was 22. 22
Was it 22?
Yeah.
Really wish something had happened with that.
I do too. I pitch it every time I can.
Well, that's nice.
And then they say something like, yeah, I don't know. And then I go back to square one.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, it is called Not Her Daughter, and it is a fabulous concept. A woman kidnaps a girl who she believes is in a rough domestic situation, and it deals with like the criminal and moral fallout of that moment. Really great story. Michelle, if you haven't bought it, I'll buy it for you. You should read it.
I'd love to.
That's such a cool high concept cinematic thing, in my opinion. Do you start writing a book with that in mind? Like, are you picturing it as a movie? Because I always picture things as a movie because I come from a screenwriting background. I'm so shocked to know that most authors say no to that question.
Oh no, it's 100% yes. I mean, not yes to the high concept because that was my debut, and I just this like idea just hit me and
Right.
I wanted to write it. But when I write anything, especially now, because that term high concept is all, it's like, oh, it's not high concept enough, or it is
Yeah, no
high
one really
concept.
knows.
Well, it's also
No, really.
subjective. It really
It's
is.
so subjective, but I always like when I write anything, I see it as a movie first. That's how I like want to create things on the page. So for that one, I mean, that one day I'm like, I will see that book on screen somehow, some way, because I have just seen it so many times in my head. And that is one of my biggest, goals for sure.
Well, do you think you'd be disappointed though when it comes to screen and it doesn't match your vision?
100% probably disappointed, but also I know that like again, I have this weird ability to separate myself from my work. Like I understand, unless I'm like highly involved in the process for some strange reason, that's not mine. It's not my lane. It's now up for public consumption in a different way. So, like we have a project that, I mean, it's getting pretty far along. Maybe we'll be on the screen someday, but even reading the script, I'm like, would I have made those choices? Would I have done something differently? Probably, but my goal is just to kind of see it. And I think even if it's not what the author envisions, it gives such a new life to your book and allows people to discover the book again. So I think that's really cool.
It can. My only cynical caveat is that if the film turns out really bad, it could kind of work against you.
It could, for sure. Yeah. But I mean,
or it's The Housemaid and it makes $250 million, and
but then it allows people to be like, oh, the book was so much better.
Much better, right? Which is what is usually said. I feel like, honestly, and that's not it's not a bad thing, but. There's been a lot of like really big books that I was so excited for the adaptation. I was like, I didn't really
sucks.
love that. Yeah. But
we're going out with our recent book pipeline winner now, which is also a thriller, female-led thriller. It's The Woman in the Cabin. It's called Becca Day.
What? It's The Woman in the Cabin? That's like women.
There's a lot of women. It's part of the women in things
I feel like
genre.
I just saw that title on a movie.
Because there's a book called The Woman in Cabin 10.
Oh.
Yeah. Which was a huge bestseller.
That was a huge, but that was a while ago. I mean, that was a long time ago.
It was a while ago. This one, totally different. This one did really well as far as sales. UK author. She's great. But it's a constant, guessing game of like testing the market and seeing ultimately, sadly, why people pass. And then you kind of pivot from there. But I bring it up too, because if someone is interested, then I can be like, oh, here's these other two books. They're thrillers. They also won. And you kind of sneak it in that way.
Totally.
You have to be, I don't know if it's the same in publishing now. I'm assuming it's exactly the same, but like you have to be really creative in your salesperson skills.
Yeah.
Even at every stage, I feel like at this point, right?
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's gotten, I don't want to say worse, but that's gotten more heightened over the last 5 years, 10 years?
Your creative strategy or strategic creativity like has to be really peak. Because I also feel like imagination has gone down a little bit. And so just a wee bit. And so sometimes, you have to be that person that thinks of the things that these producers or these publishers or whatever aren't going to think of, and, give them something to be like, oh yeah, okay, maybe that could work if we leverage this or try that angle, etc. So yeah, I feel like, what you do, Matt, is really, really important for all these emerging writers, and what you do, Rhea, too.
Not to be overly critical of agents, because they're all working hard, and I don't know how any of them make a living. God bless them.
I know.
But it is their job to like have those creative business sort of thoughts and how to market it and how to
to have vision.
To have vision. And I mean, that's the thing that's so frustrating when I pitch people and, you hear these kind of canned responses like, I'm not really sure how I'd be able to break this out, or I don't feel, or like I didn't really connect with the character. And like so many of the quote unquote rejections are so fixable actually on the author's end. But I do think agents are so inundated. They are, if that pitch does not like hook them immediately, if they don't know exactly who they would pitch it to, where it would sit on a shelf, they have to guess at all, it's a no. So like the author has to do so much of that work ahead of time. And the biggest mistake I see first time authors make when it comes to pitching is pitching before their pitch is ready. And like, I always send out in very small batches, because if we send out 10 queries and we get 5 or 6 full manuscript requests, that usually tells me like, oh, we've got a pretty good query letter here. Like we're probably safe to infiltrate the market a little bit. But I see a lot of people, they'll send out like 50 or 100 queries, and there's a fundamental issue with the pitch itself. So it's either not going to get a response at all, or it's just a no all the way around the board. And it's probably something that was pretty fixable.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and I know you all, like Book Pipeline does a ton of like query letter reviews and things like that. But I mean, it's so important. Like
we put a lot of time to, Kira Duggan, who is our executive at Book Pipeline. Hi, Kira. She doesn't listen to this podcast. Sadly, she has the other podcast for Pipeline artists. So anyway, she puts a lot of time and effort into working with our unpublished winners every year.
Yeah.
In making sure that their pitch is right, that when we pitch it to our industry context and stuff, that pitch is like airtight.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of back and forth with the authors on that, because it really is everything, right?
Yeah.
As someone who's reading, hundreds of pitches a year for Fringe Press, it's interesting just being on that side of that edge of the table now, where it's like, yeah, if it's not interesting, I'm not going to read it,
Right.
If they attach the sample, I might, just look at the synopsis or the full synopsis, and I'll look at the writing a bit. But if it's not for us, it's not for us. And that's just how it is, And
it's crazy, the attention spans. I mean, our attention span is 0.8 seconds. So it's like, God, you have less time than ever to even capture someone's attention and then keep it for hundreds and hundreds of pages, or not in a script, of course, but like with books, it's just, it's tricky for sure.
Yeah. And I look at I'm curious if this is like an issue. I don't see it as an issue in the publishing world, but like in screenwriting, a lot of screenwriters are writing stuff that feels very festy. And by that, I mean, like there's scripts that would play well at, the films that will play well at South by Southwest, or Tribeca or something. And it's not stuff that like managers are like, oh, I can go sell this to Netflix tomorrow, or I can go sell this to Blumhouse tomorrow. They're not art house films, but they're fest films. And I feel like there's a publishing equivalent
of
to
that.
Yeah. And that's like agents aren't really sinking their teeth into that either.
Sure. And I know a lot of traditionally published authors who, I don't know, I'm finding more and more like authors are really wanting to try their hand at like cross genre, or doing some different things. And sometimes your agent like wants you to stay in your lane. So a lot of authors are indie publishing stuff on the side, and then just going the traditional route too, or doing things under pen names so they can just, I don't know, get their books on TikTok Shop.
Which I'm a big proponent of, by the way, the hybrid publishing, indie publishing. If you want to put the time and the money and the effort into it, I think sometimes it's better. I will name drop one person because I think she's a brilliant author. She's finally publishing her book, and she's doing it through She Writes Press, which is
She Writes Press is great.
And they are great. And her name's Liz Fine. We published 1 million of her short stories on Pipeline Artists. She's wonderful, but she writes exactly what I'm talking about. Like this would be a really good, interesting art house fest type of film.
Totally.
And she's got so many rejections. She's got so many rejections, but like, hey, she's also not going to listen to this podcast episode, so it's okay. Watch her email me like, how dare you say I got rejections?
I'm going to send it to her.
No, she's unfairly had a hard time, I think, because I really do think she's brilliant. But she finally went with She Writes Press. She sent me like the cover art for it, and I'm like, this. First of all, the cover art is so much better than like so many of the other covers I see.
Yes.
Like it's just clear that they're really putting this collaborative effort into it to make it the best possible book. And it's like, this is ultimately going to be probably the best path for her, rather than getting picked up by.
Oh my gosh. When you look at it, when you compare it like apples to apples, I mean, it does all come back down to finding a readership, being able to actually market and sell the book. But if you can do that, like you can make so much more money as an indie published author if you can do it robustly and correctly. But, I help so many indie authors, and I've not done it myself. So a friend and I are going to we're writing a Christmas thromance, a thriller romance, and we're going to indie publish it under a pen name. And we were having so much fun, but I just want to be able to compare the traditional path to that. Yeah. And just like, do we love it? Is this the best thing ever? Is it too much work? I don't know.
Well, Pooja Guha, whom I mentioned, I mean, we both know her, Matt, and she self-published from like the time I knew her back in 2014, and she's like killing it.
Kill it. Yeah. I mean, it truly, like when I hear about sale, I mean, I know so many indie published authors are selling millions of copies of their books, and like to do that traditionally, you can, but I mean, it's tough. You have to have
let me real talk it for a second. Yeah. There is still the black cloud of like telling someone, you know, you're at a party and you're like, oh, my book came out. Like you have to feel like you have to add on like, oh, it's a hybrid publisher actually, or it's indie published,
or it's self-published,
or it's self-published. Yeah. I don't feel like that should be the
No, because readers, guess what? Readers don't care. I have told thousands of readers. I said, how many of you actually go to the, you know, look on the spine or go to the copyright page and see who published the book? Or like, we don't care. As long as it like, sometimes with indie published books, like you can tell that they have been selling.
Yeah.
You know, and that's my biggest gripe with it, like making sure the product looks great. But readers don't care. We care. Our egos care. But actually, I feel like indie publishing in general or hybrid is just becoming so much more mainstream and popular because people don't want gatekeepers. People don't want to wait 12 months, 18 months, 24 months,
2 years,
for their books to come out or to even be validated, or to decide, like, you're deciding how much money my book is worth, when it's going to come out. Publishers have the ultimate say so on cover design and the marketing plan and all of those things. So for type A people, you know, traditional publishing challenges us in a lot of ways, for sure.
People who like to CEO their career.
Do type A people like to be in control of everything that they're doing?
Are you not type A, Matt?
I don't really know what the types are. I'm definitely type A now that I know.
Type A is like a control freak.
Yes. Michelle and I are both type A.
Yeah, as am I. I mean, I've had to be a little bit more flexible, but that's why I'm really excited to just try something new and see the difference, because unfortunately, there are a lot of gripes about traditional publishing. There's a lot of wonderful things too, but it really just all comes down to your team, their effort, what they're willing to do, what they're not willing to do. And the biggest gripe I hear from all the authors that I've worked with who do land deals is, you know, after their book comes out, they're like, man, I'm just really disappointed that the marketing team didn't do more. I felt like I was completely like cut free and that's that. And they move on. So, you know, that's disappointing. But a book is something you can push forever. But I think for a lot of creatives, they don't want to spend their time marketing and pushing and selling and doing all those things. So
which you have to do 95% of the time if you've got a traditional publisher. So
it's all on the author, but I suck at that. I mean, I have 9 books. I have like, you know, almost all my books I think have earned out, and I'm like, they're just sitting there. Like I could be just, you know, making the publisher money.
You market your books. I see on Instagram.
I do, but like not probably like I could be, like a real strategy, kind of revolving door automations of some sort. Like,
do you do a newsletter? Are you?
I do a newsletter. Yeah, I do a newsletter. I'm only on one social media platform. You know, I just can't bring myself to get on TikTok. I just can't do it. But
no, don't do it.
I know people are loving it, you know.
Don't go to the dark side.
No, I can't even. I've never even watched a TikTok. Like I think I went to get on there one time. I was like, nope, can't do it. I'm too old. I'm 44. I've aged out.
For work, I had to do it, and oh my god, every time I open it, I just want to die.
Can't. I want to spend time in my real life. Like I'm not a consumer at all on social media. Like I get on, I post what I need to post, I get off. I don't use it in the way that you're supposed to.
Sinkhole, yeah.
I'm a big consumer of social media, but I'm also significantly younger than both of you. So I have a question.
You're not.
We're gonna move on. I have a question.
Significantly younger. I thought. How old are you? I thought we were
44.
Yeah, we're the same exact age. So
yeah, but what month?
November 12th.
Oh, okay. Moving on. I have a question about.
Now that people
have almost the same birthday,
I'm like 7 months older than you.
It's so wise.
You know, we both remember DuckTales. That's all.
Oh my God, DuckTales.
I remember DuckTales. What are you talking about?
Okay, can you do this somehow? I want an 80s and 90s only movie theater where I can just go and see all the great movies from the 80s and 90s. Like, why does that exist? Where is that?
Era specific.
I want to
see
all the Honey I Shrunk the Kids movies.
I like it. It only plays Honey I Shrunk the Kids, Michelle.
That's right. That's it. That's all. But that would be so fun just to play. Like, I don't know. Yeah. I miss the 80s and 90s a lot.
I am gonna steal that idea as soon as I have millions of dollars.
Like Disney movies were in the 90s.
Yeah. Oh my God. So just so many things. I mean, it's a lot better than some of the crap that's coming out today, unfortunately.
Not just better, superior.
Superior. Yes.
Well, you ruined my segue, first of all.
Oh my God, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna go back to the segue anyway. 8 fiction books. Your 9th one's coming out pretty soon.
It is April 28th.
April 28th. I'm looking forward to promoting it on TikTok. I
wish somebody would blow me up on TikTok just because I'm not on there. I'm like, can somebody please blow up one of my books? Like, oh, so great. So great.
I wish I had such marketing patience. But 9 fiction books. You also wrote 4 nonfiction books. And I would like to read the titles.
Oh my God. They did so well that no one's ever heard of any of them.
I want to read the titles in the order of my choosing. Okay.
Oh my God.
They are, hold on. Detox Before You're Expecting. Okay. Power Vegan. It's fine.
Not a vegan anymore.
Well, that's, tough to market then.
Yes.
Living the Mediterranean Diet. Okay. And the cheat sheet, finding out if he's unfaithful.
I wrote an infidelity book.
One of these books is very dissimilar to the others.
Yeah, well, 3 are in the health and wellness space. So I was in my previous life, I was a nutritionist and co-owned a gym and was a personal trainer for about 15 years. So those kind of went in line with just all the food stuff that I was doing and, health and wellness.
Makes sense. Explain the 4th one, ma'am.
Yeah, the infidelity book, which was my first. That was really my first nonfiction book, actually.
Oh.
So I had a starter marriage when I was 22 years old, married 12 years older than me. Total disaster from the jump. We decided to get a divorce, and I had an affair with my married best friend. And during that whole tumultuous time period, I kind of got this idea for this book, like, because cheating is such a pervasive thing. I mean, this was, 15, 16 years ago, whenever this was. And so I just came up with this idea to really try to find out, like, how to find out if your spouse is being unfaithful, and pitched it and got a book deal. But they brought on, because I didn't have a platform at the time, they brought on a co-author who did not write anything in the book, but she was really big in like the dating world. And it's really just like a collection of, honestly, like stories of people cheating and there are all these different tools. I mean, it's so ridiculous, but I can't believe that was my first nonfiction book. All about infidelity.
Your first book overall?
No, my first book that I never talk about is it came out when I was 22 under the publisher Dare to Dream Publishing with a 2. So I should have known. Not a good 90s. Not a great publisher. But I had that published before I graduated college. It's called A Woman's Ring. It's I was a female boxer, ended up getting brain surgery. And of course, this book, it's about like a female boxer who abandons her children in order to like go, live out her dreams and try to become a professional boxer, gets sidelined by brain injury, has to get brain surgery. I mean,
you got brain surgery?
I did. Yeah. When I was 19, I was a competitive boxer, started getting headaches. It was 2 weeks before my first competition. And my trainer was like, you probably need to go get that checked out. You're probably just overtraining. I went in, got a CT scan. They found a 3.5-inch mass on the left parietal lobe of my brain that was on the verge of hemorrhaging. If I'd gotten hit even one more time, I would have died. It was benign, but it was called an arachnoid cyst. I got brain surgery my freshman year of college. They removed it. It exploded. They put in 4 titanium plates, 16 screws, 42 staples. I was back in school like the next week, and then I wrote my first book, like right after that. Wow. Yeah. And I continued to box for a while and then was just like, God, it really freaked me out. Like knowing that number one, it could come back or that, just brain health is very important.
Yeah.
So But I still have the 4 titanium plates and 16 screws, which is insane.
That's insane.
Like part cyborg.
Wow.
But
you're amazing.
Oh, yeah. Well, thanks.
Well, you look wonderful for a plate in your head. I gotta say.
They're big too. They're like the size of snowflakes. It's crazy. They're like right under there. I could have gotten them removed 4 years post-op. I really wish I had, because I hate knowing that that's in there. But brain surgery, no, they did not prep me well for what to expect. It was a pretty harrowing experience for sure.
Wow. Well, I'm glad I asked.
Yeah.
We should open with that one. Jesus.
Wow.
Yeah.
So anyway, 4 nonfiction books. Are you writing more nonfiction?
Sure. No, I always...
What to expect when you're having brain surgery.
That's right.
I was going to use that one. I was trying to
I want to write so you want to write a book, now what? And like talk about everything that I do with the coaching, so I can just hand it to people in book form. But a publisher would never publish it, because I'm going to just tell everybody
all the secrets,
all the things that the publishing industry doesn't want you to know. So if I did, I would totally put that out myself as well. I've been talking about it for years and just haven't sat down to do it. So on the fiction train for the moment, but I really would love to do that for my business. I think it would be smart.
Yeah.
I'm jotting down notes because I forget about all these great things that we're talking about. Dear Mother, releasing late April, wherever books are sold, I would assume.
Yes, correct.
And you are working on book number 10 right now, I'm sure.
It's out on submission right now. That's the kind of time travel book that I'm like, I've never had so much fun writing a book. So I'm hopeful. It's out with like 15 editors. So we'll see. Just in that waiting game, which we all love so much.
Can you pitch it briefly?
No, not briefly.
Okay. All right.
I don't have my log line set with that. I am not good at that. Like, I actually have 3 or 4 books where I can sum them up in one sentence, and I need to get really so much better than that. But when anyone asks me what my book's about, I'm like, just go read it. Like, I am the worst.
Too. Oh, I can pitch other people's stuff really well. Strangely.
Yeah, because you're detached.
I'm detached. I pitched Not Her Daughter, and I was like, "That's the story, the end." Right? It's like,
which I love, and that one's very easy. I can sum that one up in a there's just few of my books. I'm like, oh, got it. 1 sentence, 2 sentences.
It's just because you know too much. You know too much, so that's.
Well, and this one is like, I'm so excited about this one. I'm like, okay, I gotta dial it in. Get that locked in for sure. Rhea currently,
if you are listening to this in February or March of 2026, she is doing some consultations for us in this exclusive consultation package on Book Pipeline. You can learn more about that. She's wonderful. I should book it for myself, honestly, for my new book. I don't need it. I'm too brilliant. She says.
You're too brilliant. Yeah. Remember, I helped you with your query. Your query was good. Like, you.
Oh, good. That was my first pass at it too. I think I sent you my first draft of it. I tweaked it, of course, since then. And her services are on her site, rheafrey.com.
Correct.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Check out her Substack. It's actually really great. Lots of
thank you.
Good tidbits in there.
Substack is like, it's so easy, but like, it is becoming very like social media-esque. And I don't love that a newsletter's up for public consumption. I'm like, I just want it to like go to someone's inbox. I don't want people to like it or share it, or then you feel bad because like no one's I don't know. It's just like a weird psychological thing. But I do, Substack's so easy. So it's been fun.
The social mediaification of the culture is
which you love, apparently, Matt.
Yes, of course. Rhea Frey, thank you for popping in.
Thank you, Rhea.
Thank you so much. I love interviewing people. It's one of my favorite things to do. Ask questions.
Ask questions. Never give any answers.
Yeah.
I'm glad that's been confirmed.
Yes.
See you next time. Episode 3.
All right. Ta-ta.
I'm going to stop the recording.